Alrighty, hello and welcome back to the channel. Kind of a different video coming your way today. This is one I've talked about on a couple live streams leading up to this, and this is about what you see on the screen right now, which is, yes, I have been kicked out of For Loki. This video has gone through several different iterations in my brain. I'm not sure exactly where this one will land, but let's go ahead and talk through it a little bit. First and foremost, I do want to let people know I have no animosity towards the folks at For Loki. I wish them nothing but the best. This is just my side of it. Was I expecting this? Absolutely not. Do I understand the decision? After finding out everything, which didn't occur until after my live stream on the 3rd, yes, I understand it, and it could have been handled much better and much differently, in my opinion. Once again, these are my opinions. These aren't facts. Everybody on all sides of it will have different opinions. These are mine. So take that as you will. Once again, no animosity, no hatred, no anything like that towards the folks at For Loki. I understand the decision. I just wish it had been handled a little bit differently. So why make this video then? Well, one, I don't want to answer it 100 million times on a live stream. Okay. Two, count it maybe as my audition for the future if I want to go back to Tier 1 Wars. So, those are two reasons there. There's a couple other ones in my brain on why, but that's the main thing. First and foremost, let's get into the reason why. You got to go back a little bit in time for that as well. A couple seasons ago, I had a horrible season. I had 9 deaths, which is absolutely terrible, and I'll be showing some statistics later just to kind of show that that is a little bit of an anomaly for me. And it just wasn't good. I died and lost all attack bonus on one node. One war I forgot to swap the pre-fight on Ironheart to Rupture and went into Bishop in Incinerate mode and melted myself. So yeah, there were some deaths in there that really shouldn't have happened. And that's on me, completely and totally. So after that season came around, I got a message saying, hey, look, you're going to notice that we are removing some players. I didn't happen to be one of them, but I was discussed because of that season. And that they had implemented a rule saying basically that, when I die, I've got to do certain things before I go back in. Completely fine with that. Absolutely no problems at all. So, the next season, last season, that season I think I went, had 2 deaths, and then this past season, deathless. So since I got that message, kind of sunk in, it was like, okay, let's focus, let's be safe, let's be secure. I kind of tightened up a little bit. This season rolls around, and after the season, I get the message saying, hey, we're going to remove you because it's difficult to plan around me with some of the things that are coming in the future. War's getting harder, the nodes will be harder, things will be more difficult, and it's hard for the planners to plan around fights I can take. That is what sat the wrong way with me, and still does. And that's kind of why I want to show the statistics. In my history in For Loki, I have never said once that I could not take a fight. I have expressed a preference not to fight Dust on 4B or on 5B, where I have to intercept her. For some reason, I struggle intercepting her, and that's fine. I struggle intercepting anyway. You'll hear me say it all the time. If you put me on a node that I'm forced to have to intercept, I'm going to try to force them. I'm going to mess up. That is me. I know it. It's a weakness. I will freely tell anybody that, but any other fight, all you have to do is ask me, and I'll give you an honest opinion on if I can take it or not. So anyway, that was kind of the quick, brief history of it. As far as, like I said, I didn't take too kindly to that because, one, no one has ever asked me to take any more fights, and I've never turned them down. If they were having trouble planning around me, no one ever let me know it. There could have been a quick conversation of saying, hey, we're having trouble planning around you. Could you rank up this champion, to be able to take this path? Or in the off season, do you think you can practice these fights so that we can assign them to you? None of that ever happened. So, while I understand and appreciate the troubles, the struggles, the time, all the commitment it goes to planning, a couple quick messages would have been great. That as a leader, as a manager, as anything, if you have an employee that's struggling or you're having trouble integrating with, you have that conversation. You talk to them, you just kind of work with them a little bit. It is a lot easier to keep people and retain people than it is to have to hire in new. Enough of that. I want to show the statistics over the years, or at least the past 8 or so seasons. You'll see some of these are formatted a little bit differently. That's due to line chat. I couldn't always grab the end of season ones because the images somehow just kind of get lost in line. But let's go with the most recent season first year. So here it is. You can see there, I've grayed out the names of everybody else. Don't want anybody in there. This is just to kind of show kind of the average range of fights taken, the number of deaths, things like that in a Masters Bracket Tier 1 Alliance. So you can see here, I finished 36-0. We had someone else finish 36-0. We had people that took 80 fights. Understand completely. I take fewer fights, and that's just what's planned. I can't take fights I'm not planned. In this season, I actually did take one that I wasn't planned because I was helping where somebody missed a mini boss. I took it and saved us the 3 attack bonus on the node. So, more than willing to do things like that. So, you can see there, ranked about 22nd, not the best, not the worst, just did my job, did what I could do in there. Now let's go to the season before. Like I said, this was, after a very, very bad season, after getting a message saying, hey, let's see if we can get things back on track. You can see there, only 41 fights, so a few more, but there was one, a couple more wars that season as well. So, you can see 41-2, only 2 deaths. You look at the total number of deaths, less than average, I would say. We had some deathless. We had some, with 6, 4, a bunch of people with 3, some with 5. Granted, if I took more fights, maybe I'd die more. I don't know. Can't tell you because, once again, I need to be assigned at the fights. Let's move forward. Here's the bad season. I will show everything, warts and all. And by the way, all these fights are out on the channel in my Alliance War video playlist. You can feel free to go watch them. I don't care. They're out there. I'm not hiding anything from anybody. That's the bad season. 49-9. Horrible. You can see not the worst. 55-11, 70-16. Granted, once again, they took more fights. They took harder fights. They died. Not holding it against anybody else, but just kind of trying to put this into perspective on where I sit. Once again, these are my opinions and my feelings. So, horrible season. But if you look at the 2 after that, 2 deaths, 0 deaths. Let's go to the one before that. Maybe there's a trend. Hey, there I am, 51-2. So the season's bordering that 9 death season, about the same. One was 49-2, I believe. This one, 51-2. You can see there, once again, middle of the pack and bottom middle of the pack of number of fights taken. As far as deaths go, below average. Decent season. That's about what I would expect my average season to be. So, we're going to kind of continue back. We'll go back another season. Hey, there you go. 55-0. Top of the middle tier. Once again, not the number of fights taken that some of these folks did. But once again, I cleared what I was assigned. So, nice season there for me. One of, my better ones in For Loki. And we're going to go back just 2 more here to take a look. So here's the one before that. Did die 3 times. Once again, only 42 fights. But you can see, by far, not the worst. 33-6, 41-5, 45-7, 43-6. 32-10. Some of these people are no longer with For Loki, but you can see, it was kind of a tougher season, if I remember correctly, and, just a few more deaths in there. So, and we're going to go back one more, and here we go. This one, 49-0. Are these all the seasons that I've ever been? No, these are just the ones I could grab from line and, just bring out here for this video. So, like I said, I wanted to show those just, this is kind of my audition tape. For the future. I have said many, many times, I'm not a fan of Alliance War. And I'm not. It is a lot of stress on the planning side. They spend hours and hours and hours planning these wars and trying to get everybody, the best fights possible. And, I will take some of the blame for that. There are, I'm not the greatest fighter in the world, so they do have to kind of plan around me and not give me the trickiest of fights. Understand that, and I appreciate that. Would have appreciated being asked if I could take those fights if they were struggling with it. That to me just seems fair. Now, this video, like I said, had gone through several iterations. This one came out the way it's come out. I'm not going to hide anything. Like I said, this is just how I feel. Now, after my live stream last night, I got a message saying, well, based on some of the things I said in the live stream, they thought I took it the wrong way, and they wanted to clarify. Now, here's where I would have done things totally different and wish they had done things totally different. Basically, the message was, hey, here's the story. Here's the deal. Someone, one of the best fighters in the game, wants to come back into 4Loki. We needed to make space. I was picked. Okay. My response was, next time something like that happens, just come to me and say, hey, so-and-so wants back into 4Loki. Would you mind stepping aside for a season or two and maybe coming back in the future to allow them space so that we can, push? As a team player, I have said it in line chat before, they can probably go back and find it. I can't at this point. But, there was times where they discussed like maybe trying to get Brian Grant or MSD or somebody like that back in. And I said, hey, if you need me to step aside to do it, I'll gladly do it. Those are out there. And I think I've said it on live streams in the past before as well. I would have no problem. I've got a vacation coming up, in less than a week from now, right at the start of the next war season. It would have been perfect timing to say, hey, yeah, let me take a season off. Let me step back, let you get this guy in. And then if a spot opens up after that, great. If you want me back in, perfect. If not, we'll kind of move on. That's how I would have handled it. I wouldn't have hid behind saying, hey, we can't plan around you. Being a little harsher there with the wording than what it came across, but you kind of get the point. That's how it was taken by me. And I'm stressing that. This is how it was received by me. Maybe not how it was meant, but how it was received. So with that, that's kind of all of it. I am moving on. I'm moving on to a Battlegrounds-focused alliance. I'm going to stay away from Alliance War, at least Tier 1 Alliance War for a little while. I may want to get back into it at some point in the future. If I do, feel free. The videos will be here on the channel at that point in time. So anyway, if you have questions, feel free to leave them in the chat, in the comments down below. I'm probably not going to discuss this anymore on live streams or anything like that. I'll refer to this video. This is my thoughts. This is my feelings. Once again, want to reiterate that I have no animosity or ill will towards anybody in 4Loki and wish them nothing but the best. So with that, that's going to wrap this one up. Feel free to like, feel free to subscribe, feel free to comment, do all that kind of good stuff. But in the meantime, I hope everybody has a great day and take care all.